Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 40th episode of the ArtaCast. We had a bit of a break, but that break was due to my vacation, which was very cool. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, but in the meanwhile, we got a lot of spoilers, a lot of news. I think this episode could be like 6 hours long, but we try to do it not that long. You can be excited. We have both three decks to show you. Three decks. Don't take it too serious. It's not all revealed yet, and it's only like first, how can I say, first tinkerings and not well-defined lists. At least for me, I didn't test anything, so it's just theory for me. So don't take it too serious, but still, some ideas I think could be worth exploring. And yeah, I think the set 8 stuff will not be like in the focus anymore. I don't know if you played any set championship this weekend, LD. Did you play one? I was
No,
not. No.
no. I did the thing that I do every other weekend, which is go to a wedding. I went to a wedding instead of set championship. I have been completely focused on set 9 post rotation deck building now. I've completely put set 8 out of my head. It's not something I'm concerned with anymore. I don't think it's something many people are interested in right now. Everyone's kind of playing their last championships and moving on. So yeah, my head's been just fully in the new set, fully in reveals, thinking about some initial brewing. Have been doing some testing, but nothing too extensive. And yeah, just having a good time with that and trying to get a bit of a handle on how this format's going to feel, because it's it's a big change.
It's a
As
big
it stands
change,
right
yeah.
now, there are some very, very big changes. Yeah.
Yeah, if we can just introduce it, like, how is your feeling like right now for the cards that are revealed and also the reprints that were shown? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Are you happy with what we got for now? Because I think in the community there's a bit of disappointment, but also I think that's worth talking about for a short amount of time, because I have a
Yeah.
different opinion a bit. But yeah, how do you think about it?
Yeah, so I have been feeling not kind of blown away, but I think not to just like immediately bore people by kind of leaning back on things I've said in the past, but when we talked about what Fabled will have in it, I kind of said a couple of times that the biggest impact is going to be what key cards from our last format are missing now. So which pieces that you take away are likely to have the biggest impact on the format, even more so than the new cards, even more so than key reprints. It's all about what's absent. And the big thing as it stands right now, we don't have the full list, we don't have this confirmed, but I'm kind of pretty convinced that we're going into a format with no be prepared. I am very sold on that idea based on the fact that, like, I know that how hard the teams at Ravensburger work on like their reveal strategy and everything. It's a really important part of marketing. And when you have an iconic creator like Baker, who has a card so associated with them as Be Prepared, if that person isn't given that card to reveal, like I'm I'm 90% sure that card won't come back. There's just no way he doesn't do it, because if it was given to him, they would receive from him one of the most like spectacular videos and reveals that they could have possibly had, right? And from their perspective, it's all about building excitement for the new set. It's all about these kind of cool moments that get people excited. That one would be like a home run. So no, be prepared for Baker as a reveal to me. Just I get that people want to see the full spoiler to know, but like it's a huge indicator as far as I'm concerned that we might be dealing with a format that has no unconditional sweeper. We have seen Under the Sea that we know is there, but it's a radically different card to Be Prepared. And so in the first instance, yeah, the thinking about a format with no sweeper can kind of lead you to think, oh, is this going to be absolutely terrible? At first I thought maybe maybe it is going to be terrible. As time's gone on, I think I'm really warming to the idea that we're going to play a game that feels very different. But different doesn't mean bad. It could be bad. I don't know. But I'm open to the idea of it being good. Some early test games have felt good, and I think I feel quite positive based on what I'm seeing. It's kind of like an overall downshift in the power of removal, downshift in the power of card draw, no unconditional sweeper, so it's just sort of way more based on, well, it's great for you and me. It feels like we're being forced to play medium character decks with no exceptional stuff in them. So if you've been playing green purple tempo, you probably feel quite happy about what we're going into because that's all you've ever done, right? Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I think when the community is a bit like, I don't want to say salty or so, a bit like, because they reprinted a lot of like not very meaningful cards in terms of like affecting the metagame or something, like a lot of like reprints that did never see play and probably will never see play. And I think that was kind of obvious because we got so much reveals. If we think about every one of the reveals, if we got 171, every one of that would be a powerful card, then nothing would change. So we should be quite happy that a lot of cards are not very powerful. And I'm personally also, I would say I'm happy if the power level of the game is very low. I think I remember like set 1, there was it was a cool game. I didn't mind it. And as long as the cards are balanced in a way, like we have not too many outstanding cards in terms of power level, I could say like cards like Genie or something, I could really see like being like really, really, really powerful, like really. But if the power level of the cards in decks is like flat a bit, then I'm not concerned at all. I think even so, if the power level, or at least for example, if you have less card draw, then the card advantage thing has more impact. Like you have to be more efficient with your cards, and I think that has more meaning than if you can draw for free cards, for example. And I think that's also a good aspect. And I could imagine two things. Like, we get no Be Prepared probably, but we could get still another board sweeper. I think that's not like, we have some new cards still need to be revealed. And I could even see sometimes being a rare, like Be Prepared was also a rare, right? So still possible that even another color gets a unconditional sweeper, but it's probably not very likely, but it's still possible. But even if not, like they could like make it up with like this low resource game that we could get, because like the immediate answer you could say is like, oh, if we get no sweeper, then we go wide. We go wide, and then
yes.
But if you have low card draw, that isn't true at all. So because like in limited formats, like that we have no board sweeper in limited formats, and that the solution was not going wide in limited formats. The solution was we have not much card draw, so we have to go. We have to play efficient cards and card that do card advantage, and that's not like a lot of 1-drops. And if you play a lot of 1-drops and your opponent can deal with them at some point, then you lose the game because you have no cards left and your opponent has. So I think if you have a lot of card draw, we need a sweeper for sure. If we have less card draw, I could see a world where we don't need a sweeper, because it's not just possible to slam the board with just. It's not possible just because you don't have not access to enough cards to do that. So Yeah, I could
Yeah,
see that.
totally.
I could see that being the case, that we don't need a sweeper. But if we get a
Yeah,
lot
I think
of
I
draw
agree.
tools, then I would be more concerned about
Yeah,
not
it's
having a
like a
sweeper. Yeah.
it's like an overall sort of de-escalation in power, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. So,
Mm-hmm.
so in the previous format, we had decks that would like start their turn by exerting an aerial to sing Whole New World, and then spend their 6 ink on 6 1 drops, right? So
Yeah.
if you have a format where that can happen, that format also needs to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
the safety mechanism of an immediate sweeper. Um, if those things aren't happening, then it's certainly less needed. I think the one concern I've seen from people that I think is very legitimate is that what's missing, or a lot of the big pieces that have been taken away, are the good catch-up tools of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a lot of key cards that flipped tempo back towards the person that was on the draw. So that is your be prepared. That's tools like Fox and Crab as well. These really, really valuable
Yeah. That's true.
anti-aggro tools. Those have sort of been powered, but well, they appear to be gone. There's still a chance they get revealed, but as it stands, they appear to be gone. The A lot of the cheap removal was quite good for catching up in some matchups as well. So what you've got, I guess the one concern that people are pushing, that there's more cards to come, but as it stands right now, the thing I'm mostly concerned about is play draw disparity. Do we need? I'm sure there are
Mm,
new ways to do it and new things we can find, but certainly in this format where you're seemingly trying to go wide a bit more because there's less chance of that getting punished. Your stuff just sort of lives for longer because the removal isn't quite there. It
mm,
feels like there's a very big first mover advantage.
I wouldn't say
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't say that necessarily, because like I think you can make arguments for both. I
Hmm.
think it's like, is spell, for example, is spell make spell the play draw disparity better or worse?
Does Bell
Yeah, for
the
example, the one drop bell, the yeah, the
the
bell you
3/3?
can, yeah, it makes it yeah,
Hmm.
it's and that's also, does Cindy Storm makes it better or
That's a good
worse?
question.
Yeah, it's like it's not easy to say, because like you can also say
No.
these catch up tools you can also like use to get even more advantage most of the time, like, so it's like it has both sides of the coin for me. So it's like
Yeah, it's true.
maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. Yeah, I think your concern is reasonable, but I wouldn't say
Mm.
necessarily that it's like that for me, because like crab could also be a card, like you can also run away with the game with a crab on the play sometimes or something.
Yeah.
So it's like probably better on the draw, a card like crab. Yeah, crab is maybe the best example for a good card on the draw. But other cards like Bell or Cindy Storm or something, I'm not really sure if this makes probably a bit better on the play than on the draw. Yeah, but also like
Hmm.
sometimes it's like you can come back with that. I could imagine, or you can go away
Yeah.
even more with that. It's like hard to say for me sometimes, but of course catch up tools are yeah, are important. Yeah, I think it's like so the two sides of the, you should be able to get an advantage, but you also should be, it's like weird sometimes, because like if you have two powerful catch up tools, then your advantage means nothing, but if
Hmm.
you have two less catch up tools, you lose to a simple high roll. So it's like a
Yeah.
very hard to decide, because advantage should mean something, like if you played correctly and then got an advantage, then your opponent shouldn't come back with no cost or something. So it's like really hard to say. Really hard. It's
Yeah.
so difficult to, if a human being can ever answer all this stuff for me. Like, at least me, I'm too dumb for that to answer, I think.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are like hidden things as well that we won't feel about the format until we've played a good amount of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so in a lot of discussion about this kind of potentially more proactive format because the removal seems more powered down than the characters. That's a very sweeping generalization about a format we don't know yet. But in general, you could say that the answers have been seemingly crept out a little more than the questions of the format. Primary question on a lot of people's minds is Daisy Duck. So that remains an incredibly good proactive thing. It just becomes significantly harder to answer without a lot of the tools that enabled us to do it efficiently before.
I
But in
would
a
say
format with so much,
I would say Daisy gets worse because like the card she gives you is much more meaningful than
that's the point I'm about to make, is that like,
yeah.
yeah, you can't answer it, but if the card draw gets so much worse, then the value of giving your opponent a card becomes a bigger downside also. So there are these trade-offs like that we're not seeing just yet. It's very easy to be afraid of these early builds of Amber Steel aggro. I have no doubt they'll be good, but I don't know exactly how good, and I think there are little things. There are going to be a lot of nuances to discover about this new way that we're playing the game, and yeah, there's a lot to discover basically that you won't be able to just feel from theory crafting and from early testing, but will reveal itself over the coming weeks and months as we kind of dive into this format and actually get a good volume of games out. Because yeah, little interactions and things like that just basically like it completely upsets the status quo of the game. Every assessment we make now is based on thoughts and feelings developed over 2 years. We have to put a lot of that away and just reconsider, reassess a lot of stuff within a new environment. And some of the best examples of that, I guess, are cards like Pete and Ursula. So we know Pete is still around. Obviously, it's a set 5 card, and the 2-drop Ursula is a confirmed reprint. These are complete staples because the game for 2 years has been governed by incredibly powerful songs. A lot of the time, you need protection against them. You need to rip and prevent, be prepared, friends on the other side, storms, all these things. Now, you still have strength. There are still some impactful songs, but like, how important are these as disruptive tools now? The overall power of songs is way down. You've got to reassess those cards from the ground up. You don't know how good they are or how important they are. So yeah, tons of things like that. Like, you really have to try to put a lot of the lessons of the last 2 years out of your mind without without forgetting all of your fundamental skills that enable you to be good at the game. Yeah, everything deserves a second look, and everything deserves a new consideration within the new context of this format that is looking like it will be in some ways similar and in some ways very, very different.
Yeah, but just to sum it up I think if you have a lower power level, doesn't mean like the game should feel for some people like a bit more simple, but I think it isn't necessarily, because like I remember like in set 1, it was a very meaningful decision in my blue-yellow mid-range deck to play your 1-drop or to ink it, like in Sealed, you can say. It was a very meaningful decision. You don't have that decision anymore in this game. At least in the last 4 sets, you played your 1-drop. There was no decision in yeah, sometimes maybe, but very, very, very less decision in play or inking your 1-drop. You always played it nearly, and that's a decision that fell apart. I don't want to say the skill went down, but it's like everything has its like decisions. If decisions are there, it's good, I would say. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, but let's talk about, to be more precise, about some new cards. What are the cards from the new cards actually that got revealed that you are excited to tinker around with? Are there any cards you're really like excited to play around with? Like
yeah, there definitely are. And I think in probably the one I'm most excited about is actually like one of the most boring, because it's such a like flexible. It basically slots into a slot that has become empty, and that's the 3-cost Lilo.
Yeah,
I think does like somewhere between a crab and Cricky Impression, which we know is a really important sort of effect to have. And in the first instance, it's like, it is going to fall somewhere between that space rather than you're I guess hoping to connect with two things and get two decent trade ups in the absolute best case scenario. Within about 2 seconds of playing the format, people will learn to play around this card just as they have the other things. But it's going to enable you to. It's basically like one of the best anti-aggro tools in this new environment. It's going to help you on curve to get those early trades and make sure you can take out daisies. It's going to help you later on in the game when you've got a wide board and, like I say, doing a bit of a powered down Cricky impression. But I'm also just really interested in this secondary ability. When she quests, being able to like pump up an alien and send them into something. So immediately you look at the 4-cost Stitch. That's a really sort of the 4-cost Stitch from set 8. That's a card that sort of was completely unplayable in the last format, but this combination with this card maybe becomes worth another look. And there are other relevant aliens in the format, as I kind of will have a little look at in some of the decks we've got together. But I think that's the one I'm most excited about out of the new cards, or at least one that I think is positioned to be the best and most widely played.
Yeah, I think in a vacuum it's probably the best card of the set. Yeah. One card I'm the most excited about is the Circle of Life. Actually, I think that's the most exciting card for me because I think it's very high rolly effect, and I think it's not too hard to make it happen. And if you make it happen, it's actually really busted and can snowball a game very, very early. And I'm very interested in trying this card out. And I think in comparison to some other cards that we got in the past that had a similar effect, like, I mean, that's probably not a good comparison, but New Orleans or something. This card is inkable, and that's very, 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 very good for such an effect. I think for such a like constraining effect, you like 8-cost song is still a task, and sometimes you won't able, and then you can still ink it. And one of the decks I have he's in it, and the card is in it. And the other card I'm really interested in trying out. I don't know if it's good, but it's like I'm excited. Is the Mickey Mouse, the shift one? I think it's a bit less talked about. The card can quest for 4 if you shift it on any Mickey, and any Mickey on the board is such a threat for me. And 5/5 evasive quest for 4 is, I don't know. I think it's
be pretty hard to remove.
It's like
looking at what we've got available. Yeah,
I'm still hoping they reprint the Detective Mickey, because that would be really, really cool curve. Because like this is shift 5, and the Detective Mickey would, like, you would ramp to 5, and then you can shift it on your Detective Mickey, and then 5/5 evasive quest for 4. I think it's a task to remove it, and if it just sticks for 1 turn, you quest it for 8, and that's much. And I think, I don't know, probably the problem is for me that it's in red, and red is like, it's really hard to make a good build for it. If it had any other color, I think the card would be really good. But I think in red it's a task to make a good mid-range, because it's a mid-range card, I think so, like a bit. And red is not the color was not the color, at least for, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's hard to find it's hard to find a red deck shell that isn't sort of built around Shark. So Shark is so obviously the best red card. I know people are looking at Powerline as well, and fair enough. I think that card can do some cool stuff and needs to be fully explored. But like, this isn't, you don't slam this in a Shark deck, do you? So
no.
You put it, basically.
I don't think it's probably not good enough, but I like the idea, and I thought I like the idea of having each Mickey on the board is a threat. Like, if I know my opponent has that in the deck, and there's a simple, I don't know, even a vanilla Mickey on the board, I think, oh my gosh, hopefully he doesn't shift next turn on it, and then but that's at least a card. I think it's a cool card design, and I will for sure test a bit of the card out. Probably won't make the card in the end, but sometimes I'm just excited about some cards to try out. But yeah, the Lilo is good. I also think the Goofy is good, the green Goofy, which can move to a location. Now, if he moves to a location, it's a 2-cost 2/2. If he moves to a location, you can move another location, another character to a location for free, and you draw a card. I think that's a powerful effect. Dumbo,
Yeah,
of
I mean,
course.
when you're
Dumbo is for me the most question mark of the whole set.
yeah, sure.
Because it could either for me the Dumbo could be either be broken and we call ourselves stupid in a month how we didn't see that, and or it could be like way too slow and it's just not good enough. I think I could see both. I could see both with this card. Or how do you feel about it?
I think Dumbo is like incredibly powerful.
Okay.
It's so the way I've always thought about it is I try to analyze it as a card that you're probably playing more often than not on your 6 ink turn, I want to say. So most of these purple decks that are heavy on evasives, they have a really clear sort of first 5 turns, and it tends to leave you with like a couple of evasive bodies in play. I think that in this format where you don't immediately fear or be prepared on turn 7, the ability to just have your 6 ink turn be play Dumbo, my 3/3 quest for 2 evasive threat. Spend your other 2, turning your 2 evasives sideways for a lore and 2 cards is like huge. And it's basically it's one of these cards that like it has. I know people have kind of drawn parallels between it and Diablo, which I think are like imperfect, but there's one dimension of that parallel that I think holds up, which is you can play it, get something from it immediately if you've kind of gone about it the right way. And then even though you've had it replace itself immediately, your opponent is challenged to remove that right away or kind of lose the game. A lot based on the quality of card draw in the game. I like how do you come back against your opponent like drawing 4 for 4 ink that also gains 4 lore over the course of 2 turns? Like what do you do?
All these characters you said can't challenge. So if your opponent is ahead, Dumbo is for sure nonsense. Yeah, for sure. Also, it makes absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Very true. That's a really good observation, is that yes, all of these scenarios involve you questing in these mid-game essentially questing. It's like a game 1 lore draw a card. It's the important part is what you say, it's not challenging, it's taking the turn off. So ahead it's crazy. Behind it's a big risk.
I think it would be
you can just ink it.
It would be way. Yeah, I think it's a good card. That's not. I never doubted that it's a good card. But I think this card would really shine in a meta where we had a lot of sweepers. Because like you can use that turn where you think your opponent will board wipe next turn and then just draw a bunch of cards and then they still need to board wipe probably. That would be really busted. But
this would be
so I could see that being very often inked. I don't know, but maybe I was wrong with some other cards too. So I could see you being totally right. But
it could be one of those cards that gets inked like 75% of the time, and then the other 25% of the time it wins the game on the spot.
That's reasonable.
Those cards exist and they're good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true, and I can't really argue against it. Although I don't see the green purple shell yet, but maybe we come to that later. Where I don't see the deck for Dumbo yet. I don't see it too much. That's the problem for me. Maybe in Blurple or something, I could see it.
It makes a lot of sense there, I think. Yeah. I think in Blurple, you've got a lot of excess ink to do stuff with. You don't struggle to. You kind of get ahead by definition for your ramp. It makes sense in that deck, I think.
Yeah, yeah, at least a very good card. I think it's also a card I think is a bit underestimated. Is the maybe it's also not good enough, but Magic Feather. I think that's a cool card if
Okay.
we have a lot of evasives, because you play that card only in a deck where you not have a lot of evasives, obviously, and then you can. It's like a one-time removal for evasive if you have like a character that can't challenge an evasive, then you play this down, challenge it, and then it's like there forever. And you
Hmm.
against some decks, I think it could be really annoying. But that's was just my initial thought. I think the max goof
Yeah.
is also like decent. I think you have a deck with it, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it's great. Really cool card.
Yeah, I think for the low amount of cards that we got from new cards, actually, I think the cards are in very good power level. I think the new
Yeah,
cards.
a lot of interesting stuff
Yeah.
for sure. It's it's been overall like a way more exciting reveal season than we've had before. And I know that like it's kind of it's a weird feeling for a lot of people because it is cut with all of the heartbreak of like your favorite thing not coming back. So it's hard to completely process it as a positive, but in like just zooming out and looking at it as how sort of eager for the information I've been, how impactful all of the information has been. You know, like each individual card reveal is so much more relevant and impactful than we've
Mm-hmm.
seen for the last few sets, because when you're adding new sets, you're just kind of diluting an existing card pool, and 90% of them won't see any play whatsoever. Also true for a lot of these reprints, but like I say, there is impact in what's not being reprinted. So it's been a really exciting experience, and it's just I love the challenge of just trying to like piece together what the fundamental feeling of the format will be. Like, how is this, like, what are these play patterns going to look like, what are these standard curve outs for these decks going to look like, and how efficiently can they be answered. And when you're trying to work those things out, you'll frequently get scared because your thinking hits walls where you're like, right, I don't know what beats Daisy 2-drop into Tiana Pluto.
Yeah.
That's a crazy curve up. But there will be ways to work it out, and that's like, yeah, that's the thing I enjoy most about card games, is just trying to get a handle on how to interact with some of these play patterns, and yeah, get a feel for what's really, really good in a format.
At least you have no Rapunzel anymore, it seems like, and we can
Exactly.
exert our stuff against these stupid Ember Steel lines. So,
Exactly. Yeah, and it's all the hidden things like that. It's all those
yeah,
little nuances.
because we
All
can.
of the
Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say all the tiny little, rules in air quote, like the rules of the format. The rule we've only had one format so far, so
Yeah,
it's like the
yeah.
rules of the game. Against amber decks, there has always been a rule of you cannot leave these 3 strength things sideways when your opponent has a character with higher willpower than 3 in play,
Yeah.
because as soon as you do it, they draw 3 and can typically leverage that to win a game. If that rule goes away, all of your thinking about those early turns can completely change, and it's
Or suddenly,
those little things that will have the greatest impact on how the game feels.
we can just damage the Daisy. We can do just
Exactly.
do damage on the Daisy
Yeah,
and kill her next turn. Like that. We were not able to do that in the last 2 years. We were not.
yeah.
We are not able
Like
to do that.
the amount of times I hit a daisy for 2 because I was like, right, I've got no line to do this efficiently, so I've got to hit it for 2 twice, right? And then you hit it for 2 once, and they just stop questing with it until their 4th turn when they draw 2 cards. And you're like, great, I'm an idiot. I
Yeah.
deserved. Yeah, just having that go away is it's going to make things feel really different. And there are quite a few examples of cards that will put a lot of pressure on decisions you can make in specific turns, and how that's all set to change now that those cards aren't coming back. So I'm really excited to explore that. It feels great, and a lot of the decks that we've got to look through now, the 3 on my side, as you kind of said at the top of the episode, they're not finessed. They are based on some early testing, but each of them represents like a different reading of what this new environment could feel like, and like
Mm-hmm.
some new rules of the format. What I guess just basic thoughts of this fundamentally wasn't amazing before, but in light of the new conditions around it, maybe this is great, sort of thing. So yeah, I'm excited to see what you've put together. Do you think it's time to look at some decks?
Yes. I start my lists from least exciting to most exciting. Okay.
Sure. Cool.
So the first one is the most boring one. I would say. I think it's not boring, but it's like, yeah, I think it's not a really new idea. Purple Steel, Aggro Midrange. I actually, when I built the deck, I found out that it's not that easy to build, because I thought like, oh, you have still Doc, you have still Genie and stuff, but still a lot of cards are falling out, like Crab and Fox and Snake and stuff. So the power level even from this deck goes down, and you have to refill the deck with some, I would say less power level cards than before, and be happy with that. And but here I think that list here, I think, should be some solid things. I like that you still have Diablo and Cusco, and then you can have Lilo, and Lilo is really good with Diablo and Cusco, I think. Also, I could imagine the Tinkerbell shift line being really good in the new format. I don't think there are good answers to Tinkerbell, and she can clean up a board really good. You have still a ton of reach. Obviously, you're missing the bounce ability to bounce your dogs. That hurts a bit, but that hurts any deck in purple. I don't know still, do you need 4 Peats and stuff like you said? It's like, I don't know. I just built it and probably needs a lot of... but for me, Purple Steel, there must be something. I think Doc and Genie in one deck is very powerful in the new format, I could imagine. And Elsa is also a really good, very good removal tool, you can say.
It's premium removal.
And it's a bit more mid-rangey, although it has docs, but I just didn't want to play a lot of bad characters just because I want to be more aggressive. I don't know. I think you can still play a bit more of a mid-rangey playstyle even if you play docs. And so for example, there are only 8 1-drops. I didn't find any other 1-drop that I really liked. Robin Hood would be something. The 1-drop Robin Hood wasn't revealed yet, so I don't know if that would be revealed. I think I would make room for the Robin Hood shift line, because Robin Hood should be also really powerful next set. And maybe there comes some 1 or 2 cards that get revealed that still fit in here or something, but I think that should be something like this should be reasonable. Or what do you think?
I completely. Really interested in a build like this. I think it's Purple Steel looks pretty well positioned, and I really like that you raised the question around Pete, which is exactly where I'm at with a lot of these Steel decks. Is just like by default, Pete. It feels like the best thing Pete is doing right now is filling that turn 3 spot when you're in Steel Mirrors to ensure that you basically are the first. You get to storm first, strength first. You know. So if they Pete you on turn 3 on the play, you do it back to them on the draw, and then you hopefully they don't have another one, and you get to be the first one to strength, and that one tends to have a very big swingy effect on the game. So still performing that role very well, but a lot of the other things you depended on it for not so relevant anymore. So like I'm looking at other 3-drops, like the Steel Genie, 3/4 that has evasive on your turn.
I also thought about sorry,
just that Genie is really good. nicely statted character that feels very relevant in this format. because we know we're going to have to hit a lot of evasives, a lot of the evasive stuff in purple. Like they're the best cards in that color that don't rotate. Dumbo is the most hyped legendary from the new set, and I want to be sure that I can hit plenty of evasives. Like that. Maybe Pete will turn out to still be a cornerstone of the format, but in the first instance, you've got to give it another think. How much do you want it, and how many of them do you need? All things to consider over the next few weeks.
Yeah, John Silver was another card I thought would be cool.
Yep.
Because that's an alien, and it would
Yep.
be good with Lilo. Although I think the Lilo, the second effect, is probably a bit worse than we think, because like both characters need to be dry. Like
Yes.
she needs to be dry, and the character that needs to that wants to challenge something ready. So I could imagine that doesn't come up very often. So I don't know if that's reasonable to just include it for that cute little synergy.
It's not an effect you build around, because it's going to happen very infrequently. But if you can kind of incidentally have some of those synergies in your deck, because you do want both those cards independently of each other, then it will be good, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's probably, if you see that list, it's not very like outstanding or something, but it should be reasonable in the new format, I think.
And I think one more thing I just want to flag up on it, because it's going to be a running theme, is Captain Hook in the 1-drop slot. I think I'm really high on Captain Hook because it's one of very few really good 1-drops on the draw. And in general, a lot of people are looking for these swingy turn 3 plays that are going to help them fight aggro. A lot of people are looking to Lewis in green. And when that happens to me, I want to end up like on the positive side of ink by trading my Hook up into their Exerted Lewis, right? And saving whatever it is that's more, maybe they gave Reckless to like my 2-drop that's just going to like a go-go or something that I've run out and I'd rather save. I think Hook is a really flexible 1-drop that is going to do good work a lot of the time, and feels certainly more playable than it has for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Cool. Show me your first.
Yeah, my first one, as we've already mentioned it, let's have a look at my max goof deck, and I'm going to have to talk you through my my peculiar proxies. Hopefully the viewers will see a kind of finished and updated version. All the images as it stands right now aren't in Dreamborn, so we're having to go manual. This is the one that I'm creating the most editing work for you, because it has the most new cards in it. But yeah, like you said before when we were talking about max goof, I really like this card. In the absence of lots of very good draw engines that we're losing, an effect like this feels really good. You're often going to be able to do things like immediately after singing your first strength, you can buy it back and then get yourself ready to do it again, and that's going to be a very high impact thing in the game. And my whole proof of concept here is basically that I think a lot of these songs, so the songs we've got are Mother Knows Best, Strength of a Raging Fire, and Stand Out, the new song. A lot of them have the power to kind of do what I said was very hard earlier and swing the tempo back towards you. So singing a Mother Knows Best, singing a Strength on turn 4, among the best things you can do to kind of retake tempo in a lot of games. So yeah, basically just making sure maximizing your ability to do that. In the absence of really amazing removal and really amazing bounce tools, I think that should be pretty valid. I'm also trying out the Green Genie, the 4-drop here, because I have no idea how like amazing it'll be, but I think often when you get to quest once with this, it's going to do way more of like a again like a sort of Lilo Cricky impression for you, and I've really enjoyed getting to quest with one on my 5 ink turn and then just slamming a Chempo behind it. So just like challenging them to get through a 6/7 bodyguard when I've got like a board of little questers. And yeah, so basic game plan, just curve out with things that you can turn sideways, hopefully opening up with a Merfolk on the play. Then look on play whatever 3-drop you want that's going to help you in whatever position. Sing your first really swingy song on turn 4 and play your genie, and then you can slam a Chempo behind it. That basically says like your little 3 and 4 turn there, give you the tempo back, and then after that you challenge them to come at you basically while hiding behind a massive Chempo. Totally unsure on the genie stuff, but it's like in terms of a proof of concept, I think you can kind of pair steel with any color because Doc is an incredible draw engine. And yeah, I really just like this. I've really had a lot of fun with this Max Goof song based package for just enabling hyper consistency of removal, basically just making sure that once you've done it the first time you can keep doing it. So yeah, it's a little more gimmicky. No idea how it will hold up, and there are probably some cards that need a second look. But yeah, it's a nice concept. I think
that's cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if you also could play one or two cantrip songs somehow, because that would be also something.
Yeah, like I'm Still Here, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because
definitely
like
room for...
if on an empty board or something, I could imagine sometimes you just want to have to recur a cantrip song instead of like a strength or something.
Yeah.
I
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say when I think about myself playing this, the as I tend to do, the lines that I imagine are like are way less of they're not the most exciting ones. So like I can imagine myself on like my 7th turn or something. I want to Max Goof back a Mother Knows Best for a total of 4 ink, and then quest for one with my Doc and bounce my own Doc, holding it to replay next turn. And it's like the most medium do nothing turn, but like, it would feel like such a genius.
Good. Yeah, I think it sounds good.
It's something. And yeah, the other card I didn't really talk much about, Standout, the new song that gives evasive. Like I said, I think it's very, very, very relevant to be able to take out evasives. And when you play it on like the 4-cost Stitch, that's really good. And hopefully, maybe it's a bit gimmicky, the pieces don't come together too much, but questing with that Lilo, getting a Stitch that can hit ready stuff, and then giving it Standout to hit something like ready and evasive, and just take your big trade up, get your card. Yeah, it feels good. Don't know if it'll come together, but as a concept, I think
that's a cool deck. Yeah, I think that's
like often you're going to just play it on Calhoun to trade up into something, to take out genies and things like that. And yeah, it should do something. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be a complete do nothing deck. There's a solid concept, but I'm tinkering with numbers and kind of. I'm also quietly hoping we get maybe like a little enough to do a light discard package, because I would rather be doing that than just pure tempo-y stuff. Like I think win card draw is less good. I'd rather be like playing chip, and I'd love to have sudden chill, that sort of thing. So yeah.
Makes total sense. Cool.
That's so What's next cool for you?
Next deck for me is, as I mentioned, I'm very excited in the card Circle of Life, and I want to tinker around with it. I played 2 different things, and I played it with Ember Steel because it's probably the most obvious thing, because you have an Ember Steel like this new Mickey, this not new Mickey, this old giant Mickey that is an absolute abomination. I don't know, but actually, when I went through the card pool and stuff, I found it way more easy to build it with with green, and that's what I want to show now. The good thing is with green, you have 8 of these cantrip cheap characters. Draw a card, discard a card, and not cantrip, like draw a card, discard a card. and you have a lot of powerful shift lines, and you have way more payoff for Circle of Life than in the Amber Steel variant, because in Amber Steel variant you really have only the Mickey and Surfer Stitch maybe, but here you have way more. What you do basically with deck, or what my plan is to do, is basically set up a lot of shift lines, and cause of the non-existent removals, or not really much removals we have access to, you should be hopefully be very reliably able to shift on your characters. Hopefully, like you have Tramp, you have Clarabelle, you have Chap, and I hope it's good enough against Aggro with 4 Lewis and stuff. I think the Tramp, the 2-drop Tramp, is really good at trading up. I also think the 4-cost Chap is a bit overlooked, and I think it's a good card. You can like decrease someone of 3 strength, and even then you can like just run in with all of your 1 strength characters, and it cleans something up. And the big chap is able to sing it alone, the Circle of Life. And if you shift it, and then you have, if you see here, you have so many good targets for Circle of Life. So basically, you fill up your discard with the 1-cost new draw discard, the Isma and the Chap, with discards the top 3 cards, and then you hopefully have something really good in your discard. And I think, for example, an early Basil on the board should be really, really powerful. I think that's really disgusting for your opponent. You bounce something, and then it should be really hard to remove him immediately, and then you can quest, and he always needs to discard something. You have also some other tools to sing your Circle of Life, like with this other Tramp that gets cheaper. And Surfer Stitch should be really good, I think, because if you sing together the song, you have always like 2 characters, and then Stitch always draw 2 cards. Yeah, Clarabelle is good. John Silver should be really good against Aggro. I don't know about the numbers. I don't know if this has any legs. I just thought it's like a very by accident, I didn't mean it on purpose. By accident, I had 0 uninkables in the deck, and then I added 3 Mother Knows Best and the big Chip and Chap, because I thought I saw the Chip and Chap, and I thought, that's not very. But with 0 uninkables, I'm able to at least. But I did not do that on purpose. I built a deck, and I looked how many uninkables I have, and I had 0. It was very, very funny. And I think Mother Knows Best should be a really good removal still. Yeah, this deck has not. Maybe it's not good enough against Aggro. I don't know. Maybe it's not. But if you can sing sometimes, if you can sing once at John Silver, I think it should still be very fast yourself. And Lewis is one of the best anti-Aggro tools you have access to. I think could be. And I think just the fact that you have a lot of shift lines available, and then you set up your board, and it should be like really frustrating for your opponent, hopefully, to play around all these shift lines. And if you shift once, you are able to sing the Circle of Life. And I think Circle of Life is such a swingy card, and I think you're often in such an advantageous position if you can ever sing it. And especially in a world where we have no board wipe, I think that should be often game winning if you are ever able to sing it. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, I get the fear about aggro a little bit, but you've got like better tools than most, right? But you have 4 Lewis for the 2-cost Tramp. You should be able to just do some impactful things early. You can sing a Mother Knows Best to kind of have a nice swingy impact, and maybe if you're Circle of Lifing like a Basil early, like you say, it's you've got the lines to make those matchups good. I really like it. I know like the Circle of Life is one of those cards that people are more excited about. I've not been that excited about it, but I think a build like this makes it look really cool. I'm way more sold on it than I thought I'd be. Looks great.
Oh,
Obviously,
thank
there's
you.
numbers to tweak. It's the same with all
Yeah,
of it.
there are a lot of numbers. I don't know if John
Yeah,
Silver is good enough, for example. I don't know, but
I think John Silver's great. I think it's probably more like the Surfer and stuff that will maybe need some tweaking. I don't know.
no.
It's just gut feeling. Yeah, really
Yeah,
cool. I like it a
let's
lot.
see
Yeah,
how it
and I
turns out.
just like on a very basic level, like love decks that can shift Clarabelle and sing Mother Knows Best with her, and
That's
that's great.
always
You know,
great, yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, nice. Your next one?
Yeah, so for my next one, I'm gonna look at just pulled together a very linear build of Amber Steel Aggro, just to kind of
Give you an idea.
again show the proof of concept. The things that are different here are not so much based on new cards. Like the only new card you'll see is Lilo,
Mm-hmm.
for reasons previously discussed. But the absence so far of things like Brawl makes Tiana, overall, most of the removing of characters looks like it's going to be achieved through challenging. It's not just that Tiana is protected against Brawl now because it doesn't seem to be around, but it's also that the value of her effect goes up massively, right? So often you're still just going to, often on a play, you still just want to curve out with like Lady and a 2-drop on that turn, but you have the option to take these Tiana lines where you just go 1-drop, 2-drop, Tiana, Pluto. You put your Pluto sideways and quest with your Tiana.
Next.
You have a 5/5 bodyguard that they have to pay 3 just to attack,
Next.
basically.
Next game.
Yeah. There's not a huge amount to be done in that position. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the more poignant day one questions. How would you go about dealing with something like that? There are ways. I am absolutely sure of it. I'm convinced that people are arriving at them, but it's, if you want to just keep playing Go Sideways, Amber Steel, it's very much still an option. Like one of the big winners of the format shakeup is Doc. This card was so solid before and now looks like the best draw engine in the game. It is at its best in decks that just empty their hand. This absolutely does that. You lose Storm, but kind of who cares? Mr. Arrow is incidentally an alien for Lilo, so sometimes you get cool trade ups through that, can be relevant. And like I say, Hook goes in 1-drop slot in a lot of these to help protect your daisies from Lewis's and that sort of thing. Yeah, I just think what's bad about this?
Sadly, it looks disgustingly strong.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. You will lose to this deck a lot of times, I think, if you don't play it.
Yeah.
I think there's no. I think this Tiana. I really hope that we get at least a bit, either Brawl or Kit or something, because this card is such a snowbally card on the play.
Yeah.
I could still see her being a bit awkward on the draw sometimes, but for example, in a mirror match, when your opponent is on the play, I don't know, but on the play and against some slower decks, it's absolutely crazy good. And yeah, this deck, I don't know. This I would be really surprised if we don't see anything like this in the new format.
In some format, some iteration, like this will exist, right? Like this has to.
Yeah.
The 60 might not look exactly like this, but
although
this is what you're challenged to beat day one, basically.
Although it's like you said, there's a whole new math into everything. Like the four willpower of Daisy, for example, has so less meaning if Rapunzel doesn't exist. I think, for example, and all these small reasons can change up quite a lot. But I think in theory, and I don't know why this should not be very, very high tier playable. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things, like you say, like Daisy's 4 willpower becomes far less relevant because like the main thing being Rapunzel, that like you had this aggressive 1-drop that just gained a bunch of lore and then enabled you to play 2 and 3 drops with less than 4 willpower while still representing a perfect Rapunzel target for those turns, right? So incredible. That was just amazing. But it's great news for the people that aren't playing this, that is less relevant. But then like hitting that threshold for 5 to hit a shifted rhino for 5 looks like it will be significantly harder. All of your crab type effects, whether it's Lilo, Yalana, Megara, these all pump up for 2, so your math changes significantly. That 1 point is very relevant. We've not seen any indication of a Zeus reprint, so the best de facto removal spell for taking out Rhino on time is gone. Yeah, that threshold of 5 is rough and makes it look so much more important to have decent characters in your deck that are either like Calhoun, Hook, these things that naturally hit for 3, and the pump up gets them going for 5. Yeah, so all these little bits of math, they sort of change everything. Yeah, we have to see exactly what it winds up looking like. But
and even when I see this,
something like this is scary.
Yeah, even when I see this, I think even more. I think you have to play like for Lewis in every green deck. Like even if you say like, oh, you play Hook for Lewis, and that's really good, but still Lewis was then very powerful because you like that you prevented still the Daisy from questing, and your Hook has to, so it still slows you down very, very much.
Yeah,
so
it still does its job. Yeah.
I think Lewis is great in this new format. I think
a very, very good card. Certainly something that's going to pop up as 4-ofs in a lot of green decks, if not all of them. At least while things get settled. Yeah. Yeah, nice. So not a lot more to say about this, but
it's powerful.
It looks very powerful.
Yeah.
And I mean, people look around at, whenever rotation happens, one of the things that people are excited to look at and try to work out is which super underpriced cards from previous sets are set to spike. You know, what could hit its higher price threshold or something. If you bought Tiana's a couple of weeks ago, you could buy them for pennies. It's unproven how amazing this is, but in concept, it looks a lot more playable than it did before.
Yeah, this is simply powerful. I don't know.
Yeah, linear powerful deck, always good for week 1 of a new format.
Yeah.
Make them answer you. Play something familiar that's really hard and just make them have the answers.
Probably not only for week 1, but
yeah, it's unlikely to stop at week 2. Yeah. That's for sure. But yeah, that's like in terms of just overall thinking and I guess deck selection strategy. Aggro decks tend to have their moment very early on in a set cycle because while everyone's working out what's good, people do suboptimal things. They make more mistakes while they learn. The kind of missteps that creates windows for aggros to win are happening way more often, both in deck building and in player execution. So if you take a proven concept like this, like Amber Steel Go Sideways dock deck equals good, and run it into your locals on week 1, you're probably not going to be mad. I doubt you're going to be coming back to the comments and saying that I made you lose. At least not all your games.
Yeah, I think it's we don't need to talk about it. It's like a very
move on. Move on.
No. I mean, we can talk about it, but I think we can't make arguments. We can't make arguments for it being bad. My last deck. I want to make a big shout out for one of my Metaphy students. Corey is his name. He sent me this deck like 1 hour before we started recording, and I was looking at it, and I actually didn't know half of the cards here. And then I read all the cards, and then I thought, wow, I think my feeling is there is something there. That's just my feeling right now, but let's talk about it.
Yep.
There is so much going on in this deck. And it's an Artabax deck also. That's why I also like it. And it's it's a Racer deck. Racer deck was something that was not very popular in the past. And for you listeners that don't watch this episode, I will tell you some cards that are in here you may not know, because I didn't know some of the cards here. And I think some of these cards are absurdly strong. First of all, I want to point out this Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is a 3-cost 4/2 that says when you play this character, chosen racer character gets +4 strength this turn. This is an absolute crazy powerful effect in this new format, I think, because like this is premier removal in this new format. Also, additionally, the spell Candy Drift, draw a card, chosen characters of yours gets +5 strength this turn. Your 1 cost can trade a Hades or something. It's absurd. Like this is your these 2 cards turn all your cheap characters into like really big hitters, really big hitters. Like really, like all your 2/2s can trade even Robin Hoods with a Wreck-It Ralph and something. It's really much. Additionally to that, you have both King Candies. The 1 King Candy is a 3-cost 3/2. When this character is banished, you may return another racer character card from this card to your hand. You can choose himself if you have another King Candy, so you can make a loop. If you don't have him, then you can choose whatever you like. You have a lot of rush characters in this deck if you need that, and that's that. This other King Candy is very strong. Whenever one of your other racer characters is banished, it's a 4-cost 2/2 unink quest for 2. Whenever one of your other racer characters is banished, each opponent chooses and banishes one of their characters. That's for sure a powerful effect. And another standout card for me is the big Wreck-It Ralph, the shift 1 that says shift 5. When you play this character and whenever he quests, you may return a racer character card with cost 6 or less from your discard to your hand. So actually, when you shift him, you get 1 by shifting him, and when he quests, so it's like 2 cards in this turn when you shift him. So that's much, I think. Of course, some of these cards may seem mid and are only deck because they are racers, but they need to be racers because of all this triggering stuff. And the cards need to be racers, but at least most of the cards are rush. For example, this Turbo, 2 cost 2/3. On turn 5, you can play this and immediately buffing it with Ralph to rush into something. Like, that's really much. I think I also like the 3-cost 1/2 Gloyd's Orange Ball. When you play this character, each opponent lose 1 lore and you gain 1 lore. You can recur this card a lot of times, and this is very good in racing situations. It's not only you get 1 lore, your opponent lose also 1 lore. I don't know. I think and all these characters are not meaningless because all of these characters can be buffed with Ralph or Candy Drift. You have evasive answers with the 2-cost Vanellope and with the 4-cost Vanellope. I don't know. This deck does much, and I just saw it and I thought, with this deck has so much card generation and tempo, then I think that I think it needs a deeper look. That's just my feeling. I saw this list and I was very surprised about some of the cards because I didn't know them, and I think in the last format it would not be playable, but in this format I could see where a lot of trading things happen. I could see this. I could see there is something. Of course, cards like Tiana hurts this because this deck revolves around trading, and if we look right now at the Tiana deck, then maybe it's not, but still, maybe we get even Thief. Thief would be great if that would be reprinted, because then we can, like, with the King Candy and Thief, that would be really good, because then you can Thief your 2 cost, banish something and banish something again. I don't. The Glimmer versus Glimmer is a bit of a question mark because it's like it's a great combo with King Candy, but it's not. Yeah, it's a clunky card, of course, and for sure there can be something to be tinkered. Some of these Racer cards are in a vacuum probably not that powerful, like the Vanellope and her Shift line, but I can see him just valuing them all being Racers to be able to buff them and stuff. I don't know. I just wanted to make a shout out for Corey. I think it's a very cool deck. To just see the idea of the Racers without that location stuff, because that's the obviously first look when you look at Racers, but these like trading deck with a lot of gas, I think I like that. Also very resilient with aggro with this Gloid Orange Boar and all your trading stuff. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about it? If you see it, maybe you think it's trash, right?
I really, really like it. I know it can be quite easy to get me excited about like new concepts. I think this looks super solid.
Really,
This
right?
has
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
grindy. It has such a grindy engine in it. Like racers, when I hear about racers as a concept, I like my brain switches off because my brain just goes off because as soon as someone says racers, like invariably they then talk for like 5 minutes and the 5 minutes ends with them going, and then Sugar Rush Speedway, well it comes back, what draw free, what Sugar Rush Speedway. And I'm like, just I don't want to know. This I really do want to know about. Like this is like a completely different take on that. It's just full grindy engine. The Glimmer versus Glimmer is one of my least favorite cards ever printed. I think it's horrible.
Yeah.
And this makes it look good, right?
Yeah. At least playable.
I can so easily imagine like a turn 5 situation where you have already taken like at least one good trade up into your opponent. They probably have like 2 things, maximum 3 things in play, and you just sing it for free with a King Candy.
No. This is not a song.
Oh, it's not. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Rewind. It's not
Yeah.
as good as I thought. Still, I think it might still be good if you pay for it with a King Candy in play.
Yeah, you could still play on turn 5. You could play a 1-drop Vanellope, make this, and bench 2 characters. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Candy Drift, like you say, looks amazing.
Yeah.
The 3-cost Ralph is a card I was looking at myself. It's like in my saddest moments late at night when I'm like crying into my copies of Crab, and I'm like, oh, I could never replace you, my crabs, and then I'm just like frantically searching Dreamborn looking for like anything that does a crab impression, and I came across this Crab Ralph and was like, come on, how can I make Crab Ralph work? It looks brilliant in a list like this. It makes total sense. There's a lot of ideas here for sure. There's a lot going on. But like the thinking is super sound. And again, like it's often easiest to get me excited about like some of the most boring lines. Like I love imagining a completely stalled late game board, empty board, full top deck wars for both players, and you start looping 3-cost King Candies. You just quest for 3 and quest for 1, then sideways, bring the other one back, play it. It's just like old school Hades loops. It just makes me really happy.
Also the Ralph, I think like the shift Ralph, you get just 2 characters back. It's like
massive.
I think it's this deck never runs out of cards nearly. Yeah, every card recurs something, and it's like, yeah, I just thought it's a really cool. At least at the very least, it's a really cool idea, and I think it's like
awesome. And shout out to Corey. It's really cool. We love to see this sort of thinking differently. This is like the essence of what I'm talking about when I say like back to the drawing board. Yeah. What looks better when the card draw gets worse? What looks better when the removal looks worse? Yeah. Grindy, can respond to stuff fast.
Yeah. I also think
Awesome
I could
concept.
see very
Really good deck building.
very annoying situations where you like recur always your Gloid orange ball back all the time, and
Yeah,
that's so annoying for them.
just
Uh,
Gloid loop. Oh my god, it's gonna be like
and
Gloid
then
loop.
and
Like it.
and then you have your Gloid out, and your Gloid can trade a Hades with a Candy Drift. You know, like what's
Yeah,
that? Yeah. But yeah, yeah. Again, shout out. I think very cool deck concept, and I will
yeah,
for sure tinker on that because that's very
yeah.
something
I'm
that
I'm
makes me
pretty
very
sure I
excited.
own like none of these cards, and as soon as we're done
Yeah,
recording this today, I'm gonna buy this whole deck because I
nice.
think I can buy it for like less than £10. So I'm just gonna buy it all
Yeah,
and definitely test it. Yeah,
nice. Okay, we are. Oh, your last deck. We are.
yeah. One more.
Yes.
Um, I can wing through it pretty quickly because this is one that I'm really not sure on the numbers, and there's some that are like noticeably wonky. But I just wanna float the concept because I think there's a couple of things going on that are really good. Yeah, so blue steel, not a deck I've traditionally enjoyed a massive amount, but I always enjoyed like the less, I don't know, I'd maybe say like finicky versions, like things that are like wheeling and stuff like that, and or big item type builds. Not particularly interested. I like a character that does something when it comes into play, or just like is big, and this has that in droves. So the numbers of docs and desperate plans, that's way up in the air. Don't judge that too much, but certainly with all the card filtering from like Mulan, Namari, the ability to ink with T-pose, I think you've got enough filtering to make plan a really, really good draw spell. The sort of concepts just to highlight here. A Scrooge on turn 3, probably very, very good into a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
A turn 3/5/5 um, can freeze a lot of aggressive
Yeah.
boards
That's for
or
sure.
just quest aggressively.
Yeah.
Um,
That is an amazing
so when
card.
you TPO or sail, it's up pretty good. Pleakly, when Pleakly inks your hook or Mulan that you no longer really need, or your TPO, it's probably one of the best targets to randomly get buffed by Lilo's alien
Mm-hmm.
ability. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you played this oversized card that ramped you by getting rid of something, and then it was able to hit for 5 on something unexerted. Pretty good. It's a pretty good trade up. And yeah, the thing that this is like so medium, but could potentially be fantastic. Like the card I'm most excited about is Vincenzo,
Yeah. This is a great
Vincenzo
card.
Santorini. So
So underrated.
completely underrated, underexplored card, but double ramp into turn 5 Vincenzo and like snipe a Dumbo, snipe something relevant while presenting a massive willpower 3
Mm-hmm.
quester.
Mm-hmm.
So like with the low quality of removal, the thing you're going to be challenged to do really efficiently is present threats while answering threats. And if you're just playing smash on a huge body, I really think that's better than it appears and has appeared in the past. So if I can just like Tipo, Scrooge, Donald, Vincenzo, I'm pretty happy with that as a run out.
Mm-hmm.
That feels good. Tink is insane in decks like this. Namari gives you a ton of filtering. You can keep digging for stuff with vision. I think there are so many directions for Blue Steel. I know it's a deck loads of people are passionate about, and I'm sure they will find which way it shakes out at. And in no way do I believe this is like an optimal list, but in terms of like the new rules of the format, things that are just like fundamentally good, they look like they will be good in a vacuum. There are there are some things here that look like they just like get significantly better, right? And I'm so high on Vincenzo. I
Yeah, yeah.
really, really like this card.
I also think
Yeah,
Namari is great.
yeah,
Probably. Yeah, I
yeah,
think
because
that's
all
a
of that
yeah.
all that card filtering and selection to find your docks and desperate plans and get it, whatever number, whatever configuration of the two you end up playing, filtering through to find to either find them when you're digging for your next one or ditching them when you don't want multiples in your hand. It just seems like it makes a lot of sense while presenting an absurdly big body that is decent quester and also can answer a ton of stuff.
Yeah, and your docks and your desperate plants, you can discard your docks and desperate plants.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, it's one of the decks I'm actually more focused on. Like I say, not a diehard blue steel player by any stretch, but I'm interested in exploring it big time. I think there's enough there to like just the basic concept of like, if card draw is worse, then having a deck that's basically just like a small, relatively small ramp package plus a ton of just like big beat sticks that do good things and quest for massive feels like a good. Like,
and also Plickly can be really good value, you can say, because like you can say like,
exactly.
Your Mulan, it's probably the most valuable thing that you can do with her is like going into Inkwell.
Yeah, and exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's very comparable to Blurple, I would say.
Yeah.
With this being more resilient to aggro, I would say.
Yeah.
I think that's how you compare them. That's my feeling right now. This is better to aggro. Blurple has probably a bit more endurance or a bit more grinding potential, I would say. But you have also like, you have also docks and desperate play. Yeah. No, I can see that. I can see that, yeah. I think also like the numbers is probably something you need to find out if you play.
Yeah, like the ramp stuff, I'm so not sure on. Maybe the deck doesn't even play Sail. Maybe it's down on Pleatleys. Yeah, it's play completely up in the air.
Yeah, maybe you play just Calhoun's and stuff, and then you play just Pleatleys or something. And
could go that way. Yeah, there are a bunch of directions it can go in, but I think I'm pretty convinced like at least one of them will shake out as being really good. But the whole concept that I just wanted to sort of like lay out as it sounds kind of do nothing, but in a new format, it might be doing just enough is like double ramp to turn 5 Vincenzo or even a Hades or just double ramp to a fast Tink. It's
this really doesn't look like do nothing, I think.
Well, to me, do something is like turn 1 1-drop, turn 2 2 1-drops, turn 3 3 1-drops. anything other than that is a do nothing deck. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Cool.
I think we covered a lot of stuff. We could talk probably 4 hours, but I think we showed you 3 good decks. And I hope you got some ideas. We still need some cards to be revealed, and maybe some of these ideas we get some crazy new cards and we have to throw away some of these ideas. But I think
maybe they'll suddenly be proven terrible by just like one spoiler.
End it all, you know? But it's so exciting to brew a new deck. So yeah.
Yeah, really is.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think that people will probably expect, where is the green purple?
That's a good.
What I propose is, when we've got everything, we take a focus episode on green purple together when we've got everything laid out.
I would say yes, but if you ask me right now, I'm not too high on it for 2 reasons. Now, I simply for one reason, and it's basically the complete absence of catch-up tools in any means for green purple, and that makes it very hard to build for me, because like you have to play it right now as a really hyper aggressive strategy. I could imagine even being with Amethyst Comicron or something, or even the Green Comicron, and then like because once you are only a bit behind, only a bit, you can never come back because we have no fox, no crab, and no kit. How you will
Yeah.
how you want to ever come back from a disadvantageous board? It's just not possible. The only card I could see making it a bit possible is the new genie to catch up a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But outside of that, I don't see if my opponent plays a 4/4. I don't know. Concede or I don't know. It's really really hard for me to imagine how to catch up with green purple right now. Maybe that's a bit true for other colors too, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can go under a lot of stuff. That's maybe possible. You play a bunch of evasives and then you just quest out and it's enough or something like that. Yeah, that could be possibly still true. But
I think it's got one of like the better proactive packages looking at it. But you're completely right that all the concern is about how do you ever catch up? How do you stop these matchups becoming completely play draw with what we can see right now? I'm convinced there's enough to like that I want to work on the deck and I will be working on it. All I ask is you give me a chance to win you over.
no, you will you will have a chance, and I probably maybe I see it differently. But I just see my opponent shifting a rhino on turn 2, and I don't know. I can run away.
That
from
will
the
be
table.
tough to handle. Yes.
Or Robin Hood or something like that. I think it's absolutely disgusting to deal with.
I can tell you that when that happens, you will wish you were playing the Racer deck.
Yeah. I wish to buff my one strength character with the drive. How is it called? The drive.
Candy Drift.
Candy Drift. Yeah. That's what I want to do. No, I don't know. But we will see. We will see. Yes.
Yeah.
So next week you can be excited for green purple news.
Yes, green purple news next week.
Okay.
Cool.
I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah. Then thank you everyone for watching. It was a very exciting episode, I hope. And we will see you next week. And till next time, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.